Great. All right, we can just do a really quick part on the financial contribution agreement. I'll just read it real quick. As a doula collective, some of our shared goals require funds to complete, including maintaining our website, assembling care packages for the hospital staff, inviting trainers for clinics, and printing rack cards to promote our collective as a resource. True to our heart of collaboration, we share these costs equally among ourselves as members of the collective. Contribution is $75 a year and may be subject to increase or decrease based on goals for the collective that coming year. This contribution will be prorated based on when you join and will renew yearly with your membership on March 1st. Prorate will be as follows, and then it describes. If our expenses total less than the total contributions, you will have the choice at the beginning of the next year to roll over your contribution to the next year, take back your portion of the remaining balance, or put it towards our doula fund to cover a doula's operating costs to serve a family in need. Thank you for committing to this ongoing work. We are so glad to have you on our team and to be part of yours. So this is wonderful too, because you also have your presence on the website, and other organizations actually charge more. So this is great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Is this something you want today, tomorrow?
If we can,
Yeah.
if you'd like today, and yeah,
Like the form itself?
this form, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to pull that one out, but I have the other code of conduct form for you here in the front pocket that you can sign, and then you keep the code of conduct here for you to refer to throughout the years, yeah, which is really nice to have. But whenever you're ready. The next section is the code of conduct, and I'll just read it section by section or stop where it seems to seem relevant, if that's all right.
Yep.
Rules of conduct. A, propriety. The doula should maintain high standards of personal conduct in the capacity or identity as a birth doula. That's pretty self-explanatory. B, competence and professional development. The doula should strive to become and remain proficient in the professional practice and the performance of professional functions through continuing education, personal development, and seeking opportunities to learn from fellow doulas and other birth professionals. The classes that we have are also going to be open to all the doulas. And it's always nice to learn from someone else. There's always something that you can learn differently. Or eventually you may even be able to bring in other people to teach us too, which would be lovely. C, honor our core values on social media. On social media platforms, the doula should extend respect, courtesy, fairness, and good faith towards other doulas and other birth workers on behalf of the doula profession. The Palouse Doula Collective's members' influence on students, consumers, and fellow doulas extends beyond time and birth, postpartum session, or workshop setting. When engaging on social media platforms, the doula agrees to clarify that any opinions are their own, to show respect in each communication, to use good judgment in sharing only public information, and be aware that social media content is permanent and may reflect on the Palouse Doula Collective and follow this code of conduct. So, and I have some concerns about this. I've seen in different settings. One of them is that we need to make sure we are following HIPAA and not revealing information about our clients or where we're at or what we're doing when we post. It's exciting to post, oh, on my way to a birth, which is awesome if you have a birth, and there's ways you can do that if you choose to. It's very important that we support their privacy. The other thing is, we may disagree with how things have been done with some other births or something that's put on Facebook, but there's ways to disagree in a gracious way. And like I was saying there, this is my opinion. And
And you can't take it off the internet. So
That's
if
the
you
thing.
go on the internet and you have an opinion about Britain or the nurses, you will be done, and it will reflect poorly on the whole doulas.
Right.
So those kinds of things, making sure that we never put it on any social media that we have an opinion in a negative light,
Yeah.
because those opinions can be worked out individually, personally, but not once they're online. It's really, really hard. And you would think too, like, if something was said about you guys, an opinion, even if it wasn't completely a bad opinion, but if it was a not so great opinion, it could really affect. You live in a small community, and your reputation could be on the line from that opinion. So, really important to not put our opinions online. After that, really.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's ways to go around it.
Yep.
There's ways to focus on giving resources to people rather than. You guys are all mature and you know.
Yeah.
So.
Hope so.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I know, right? What? You call me a grown-up? That. Anyway. 2, ethical responsibility to clients. The primacy of clients' interests. The doula's primary responsibility is always to their clients. B, rights and prerogatives of clients. The doula should make every effort to foster maximum self-determination on the part of their clients.
That's huge. Every effort to have your client be their advocate, their own advocate, instead of you winning your birth. You have to step aside and let them have their birth, and when they want to have their birth, being respectful. Make every effort to let your clients advocate for themselves through encouragement and information and love, that compassion, but not to step on them. Their birth will be completely different if we step on them to make it go our way. That's been hard. We're like here to mitigate trauma, to not allow trauma to, come up in a birth, and we can create it really fast by making decisions for them. So we have to make every effort to hold back our own agenda.
I really like that phrasing, every effort.
I underlined every effort.
Yeah. Anything else that we said or should we move forward? Okay. Confidentiality and privacy. The doula should respect the privacy of clients and hold in confidence all information obtained in the course of professional service. Integrity. The doula should act in accordance with the highest standards of professional integrity. This includes the following. Obligation to serve. The doula should assist each client seeking birth doula support either by providing services or making appropriate referrals. That's pretty self-explanatory, neither one or the other. Reliability. When the doula agrees to work with a particular client, their obligation is to do so reliably without fail for the term of the agreement. That also includes having a plan for a backup if something random happens. Fees. When setting fees, the doula should ensure that they are fair, reasonable, and commensurate with services performed. The doula community can be helped in setting fees too, because we tend to undervalue ourselves, and it's always nice to talk to people and see their help that way.
Yeah. Could we talk about that a little more right now?
Sure.
The nuts and bolts of how to decide on that number.
Yeah.
Fees.
Yeah.
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 It's so you kind of look at, I think, what your training is and what your experience is, and it is helpful to look around at what other doulas are charging in different areas. Now, Spokane usually is more expensive than here. In and then just talking to other doulas too. So I remember starting out pretty low when I first started, and I did pro bono births for a while until I had enough births, had a few births under my belt before I started to charge. I don't recommend that. I recommend you get paid for
Yes.
at least
Even if it's
something, but so right now here, I think it ranges from 600 to about 1,000 or more. I think the 1,000 or more would be Jessica, who's also an IBCLC, and I'm not aware of where we're at.
right now,
Yeah.
well, I
Yeah.
charge one person.
Yeah. So anyway, it
So
kind of
it's
looks
the
at what
market.
training you've had, whether you're a birth doula, whether you're birth and postpartum, whether you've got any kind of a lactation consultant or anything that you're doing.
I started at $300 a month. Oh, $300.
Wow.
And then within a couple months after a few births, I went to $5. And then within a few months after that, I went up again.
Yeah.
In Seattle, I was charging at the end last year when I left here. $1,800 was my lowest, and $2,400 was my top.
Sounds reasonable for Seattle.
Totally different market.
Yeah.
But it's a totally different market, and
Yeah.
that's
Totally
actually
different.
very normal for there.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah. Yeah.
But I started at 300, even in that market. So, but I did come up very quickly. I didn't make myself stay at 300.
Yeah.
As you gain confidence, you're gonna feel like, yes, I need to get paid more for this.
Yeah, you'll see the value in
Yeah,
your work.
you'll see the value.
Yeah.
And others will feel that confidence and see more value in you as well. But if you do it free, not as like a compassion thing that you're doing for someone who can't afford a
Yeah.
doula, but if you're doing it free for the general public, you're saying that there's no value to it. They will not value you. You won't get called when the birth happens. You won't. There's a different relationship
Yeah,
when it's
totally.
free. I wouldn't do it free. I would have something, some kind of compensation, because they need to know it has value too.
Yes.
It's really important.
Yeah. They need to
Then they'll
value their
value
service.
Yeah.
I just spent a few hours looking at a whole bunch of different websites like a few months ago trying to figure out pricing. I've noticed like a lot of this area does the sliding scale, which I like, $700 to $1,000 based, on your financial situation. Spokane seems to be like $1,000 to $1,200
Yeah.
doulas. Like postpartum work, I don't know if you're doing that, but like $30, $35 to $40 an hour seems to be kind of the range that I've seen. Like as far as that goes. So I kind of just priced it like on average on what I saw, and then I was like, I'll just adjust it as time goes on.
Absolutely.
And the more you get under your belt, like, okay, now I'm spinning babies. I've done that.
Yeah.
You need to up the price.
Right,
Now you have
yeah.
a skill that's
Right.
marketable,
Mhm.
and you're benefiting your clients that much more.
And are our fees on the Palouse Doula Collective website? Are they listed on there?
There's a link to your personal website if you have one,
Okay.
or your phone number, and then you will be able to do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Right. It's really nice not to have it there, because then honestly, people are just gonna look for the cheapest one and not look for the doula that fits their situation.
I want to say one thing back on that last page that we,
Oh.
the reliability of a doula, reliable without fail for the term of the agreement. You have a client that is going against your agreement, and it's different. I have had clients in the past go against agreement, change things completely, have lied to me. There are some issues in that, so I had to literally find her another doula and break the agreement because she had really broken it. It only happened once in all of my time, but it can happen, and that's why we have a contract. So having them sign a contract is really important, so they know that they have an end to the bargain too. They can't just change and expect you to follow some changes are
Mhm.
not followed. Like changing the city 100 miles away, but you're my doula. But our agreement is
Yeah.
this hospital or
Right.
a local one.
Right.
And then breaking that contract, they forfeit part of the money in that contract. And it's important for you guys to have it in there because you've spent time and energy with that contract.
Yeah.
So you're reliable, but they need to be reliable too. Through contract.
And you might think about too, having a deposit that will cover
Mm.
pretty much your prenatal visits too. Because this happened to me. Less than a week before due date, she said, I don't want you as my doula. I just want my husband. And I held that date and I had a minimal deposit, only like $200. And I had spent a lot of time with her. And so,
And you don't have time to get into the
and no, and I don't have time, I held that space for her, and I don't have time to get anybody else, and so, thinking about having a deposit that would cover your prenatal time
Yeah.
in case something happened. So now I do 300 for,
I always did that.
oh, you did half, that's even better.
And then
Yeah.
at 4 weeks, it's the whole.
Oh,
They
4
owe the
weeks,
whole.
at
36 weeks,
36 weeks.
they owe the whole.
Okay.
And then at that point, it would have to be negotiated if they needed, if they were leaving contract, because I've made that space for them. And they're aware of that. I won't make any money or anything if they leave.
You don't have to spend so much time preparing them, like,
Yeah.
on the education that the pepper,
Right.
like, the PowerPoint that you made, like,
Yeah.
that all goes with it.
Right, so I've already done all that work with them, so
Yeah.
you're compensated for that work.
So you were asking for 50% at the first prenatal and then 50% at 36
Yeah,
weeks,
the
so
final.
before the birth.
Before the birth.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very hard to follow someone after the birth to get them to pay you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah, I
sometimes
have
it
done
could,
that.
you know, they'd say, well, I don't have it all right now, can I pay you most of it and then, and in a week, $100 more and then a week. Then I work that out
Mhm.
per client.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they know it up front when they first meet you, then they should be able to save it and have it little payment
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. And just, write out a payment plan as part of your,
And I do have a contract you guys can look at.
yeah.
You
Great.
can adapt it to whatever you need, put your own wording in there, your own
Absolutely.
subtleties, your own, but it helps to have kind of a guide.
Yeah, yeah, and I think what we'll do is actually put a few contracts in there.
Yeah.
Just so
has a
that you
different.
can look at how other people handle different things and see. It's so
Do you
good.
guys, like, go through a lawyer, or do you just have, like, a,
Yeah. It's not really a legally binding contract. It's a contract between two people. I agree with this, I agree with that. I mean, you could send it into a collection to say you would have a right. But it's not really legal. It's kind of a legal binding contract.
I think it's legal, but it's not,
But it's
because
not.
everybody signs,
Yeah,
but
it's not a.
yeah, and I learned, I got another doula and then kind of revamped it just a little bit for me, so,
Yeah.
you know.
I think we all do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's neat to see other people's contracts because your personality, your language could be different, and one of those contracts may be way better than the
Yeah.
other.
So
Yeah.
after that happened to me,
Yeah.
in my contract, I changed it so that they have a time, at 36 weeks, they can choose to continue or they will choose to pay a cancellation fee.
Mm.
I like that.
So
So yours
then
is
my-
different than
So that I have a little bit more time.
that's great.
Yeah, it might even be 34 weeks. It was enough to where there was a space.
So my philosophy is different than hers, but it works for us.
Yeah.
So that it's good to have the
It's good
different
to have different
contracts
people and then,
because you can see it can go
Yeah.
different ways. What works for you personally.
right, absolutely, yeah.
I like that.
It's so much fun being involved with her. I'm like,
Oh, shame on yours.
No, you're fine. Honestly, I was just zoned out.
No, I was just, like, writing, and I'm, like, slowly moving.
She could ask you.
You're fine.
Where are we at? Okay, anything else on fees? And this is, the next class is, business stuff, so I figured that was a good next class.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll go into a lot of stuff, but
Yeah, we'll bring the contracts out
absolutely.
and we'll go through them, that kind of
Probably
stuff.
send to you guys.
Yeah.
Ethical responsibility of colleagues. Respect, fairness, and courtesy. Doulas should treat colleagues with respect, courtesy, fairness, and good faith. We do not tolerate discrimination, including age, sex, race, color, creed, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, national origin, citizenship, disability, or marital status, or any other legally recognized protected group, and will uphold federal, state, and local laws, regulations, or ordinances. And that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Dealing with colleagues, clients. The doula has the responsibility to relate to the clients and colleagues with full professional consideration. Any questions on that one? Treat them like you treat your own.
Yeah.
Commitment to PDC. The doula will not share PDC ideas and plans with the intent of utilizing them for another organization without express permission by the steering committee and majority vote members. That's pretty easy. For ethical responsibility to the birth doula profession. Maintaining the integrity of the profession. The doula should uphold and advance the values, ethics, and knowledge and mission of the profession. Community service. The doula is encouraged to promote the PDC's vision of a doula for every person who wants one by providing doula services at reduced cost, if possible, or making appropriate referrals as available. Definitely if possible. Everybody has their own bandwidth for what they can give.
For sure.
And no judgment in any way. It's easy for me to give. I have no children at home that need me to watch them. I'm not having to pay childcare. I just don't buy them pizza. So literally. And soda. So anyway, yeah, so it's different for everybody. Collaboration. The doula should do their best to work in a framework of collaboration with other doula businesses or organizations, along with healthcare providers and facilities. This will best serve birthing families and communities. Use your own judgment though with who you collaborate with. But yeah, if, a little goes a long way to building a community here.
I am listening. Just so you know, I heard everything you said.
No, I know. She's so beautiful. It's really hard to watch. Not watch her.
I love those like flushed cheeks.
So
Yeah.
she's like, in years to come, we're gonna watch this and go, oh my God, look what she does.
Yeah.
Ethical responsibility to, actually, no, collaboration. I think the doula should do their best to work in a framework of collaboration with other doula businesses. I think I just read that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Ethical responsibility to society. Promoting maternal and child welfare. The doula should promote the general health of women, birthing people, their babies, and whenever possible, that of their family and friends as well. And compassion. The doula should provide care to their clients and the community with integrity and morality, altruism, and the promotion of the brotherhood. Which makes sense. By signing this document, I agree to abide by the Palouse Doula Collective's Code of Ethics. I understand that breaking this code may result in disciplinary action, which could include my removal from the organization. That would be a step-by-step process. That would not be anything instant. I've heard it described as your slip is showing, let me help you hitch it up. We all make mistakes.
We're all held with the same code.
Yeah, we're all held with the same code. If there's something that we may be missing, we just say, hey, your slip is showing. It's not a big deal until it's a big deal. Because we're going to be kind and gracious. Absolutely. So, the next page is the the plan. The plan, which is
classic.
subject to
Yeah.
change.
Yes, at any moment.
The plan, okay. So this was our first one, the scope of a doula. We will probably talk a lot more about the scope of a doula in our business one too. Because that can be tricky
Yeah.
in practice and learning how to stay in our scope and still advocate for our, you know, the whole deal. So, so this class was the code of conduct, relationship building, question and answers. The next one would be business foundations, how I run a business, take care of my family, and keep my sanity. I'll figure that out someday. But, you know, topics, making sure to check all the boxes when doing business and not missing anything important, having realistic expectations of yourself and business, the realities of life with a family, planning your workload and how to take care of yourself, how to process the trauma that you will encounter in this career and not bring it home or internalize it. And then we're going to have other collective doulas help teach them different classes too, so we can get right. Class number 3, building good client relationships, prenatal visits, postpartum care, breastfeeding. Jessica's going to help us out with that.
Great.
Yeah.
And that is going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Ruth as well, but Jessica with the breastfeeding component, being an ECLC. And then anatomy and physiology. This is the 4th class, spinning babies, rebozo, and comforting touch. This class will use materials that Monica's created. Also, the spinning babies parent class that we would encourage you guys to watch. And we can maybe even watch it as a
I have
group.
it.
Okay, and you have
I
it?
give it to
Oh, okay.
because if they know, it's so
Yes,
much easier.
it is
to
so much easier.
Get you in a different position because you've seen it.
Yeah, yeah, when you
Yeah,
just
you
say
trust it,
whichever
you trust it,
position
yeah.
it is and they are getting
Yeah,
ready
like,
to go.
ooh, okay.
Wonderful. And then for down the road, we'd like to offer these classes every quarter and then cycle through them and have repeat people come through and they'll hopefully get better and better and better. And yeah, so that's the plan. If you guys are happy with that.
With the business foundations class, do you guys plan to talk about like sole proprietorship versus LLCs versus, and like, you know, do you have to register your business with the county and like how all that works?
We
Or
can do that, we haven't talked about that. We also can have a lot of materials available for that too. So you can read through, what's needed. I am not 100%, I know more Washington, and you probably know more Idaho.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Keep
Or
walking your
both, you
eyes.
probably know
There's
both.
safety and LLC, so we'll
Yeah.
talk about the difference.
Yeah, you're right. There is a doula business guide that is a book that I have, and that also has a workbook too, if you guys want to take a look at it.
Insurance also a question.
Yes. So, yeah, and connections to insurance, I have buy insurance this year, so I can help with that too. So, and then also other opportunities like TRICARE, Washington State.
Yeah, TRICARE covers this.
Yeah.
Military.
So, just whatever. And actually, would you guys plan on sending us anything that you're interested in, and then we can get it together?
What? Sorry, say that again.
Send
you're
us
interested
emails
in.
on what you're
Yeah.
Yes.
interested in too, because
Because that definitely.
we want to hit the mark. We don't want to
Yeah.
over or undershoot it.
Yeah.
So your input is really important for us to have what we need.
I wrote notes on top of
Thank
this
you so
that I
much for
heard.
joining us. Please reach out to us at the Palouse Doula website, and also any of the steering committee members would love to talk to you too, as well as Monica. So thank you.
Thanks, guys.